Hi, I'm Scott. I'm a service tech with Nickel Electric. Today we're going to talk about ladder safety. As electricians, we spend a large portion of our career on ladders. I'd say 75% of it is done with ladders. You know, when you spend that much time on ladders, you want to make sure that you're doing it properly and you don't get complacent because we pull them out every day. When you're getting a ladder for a job, you always want to make sure that you pick the right ladder for the specific task at hand. So if you're climbing to the roof of a building, so that you can work on an air conditioner on the top of the building, if you're working on a light fixture, or you're pulling wire across the ceiling, running conduit, you always want to make sure you get the right job. So, if you're going to be working close to a wall, if you're going to be working on a light fixture up against the wall of a building or something like that, you don't want to necessarily grab one of these if it's not tall enough and you have to lean it on the building. You want to make sure you get a straight ladder. You want to use an A-frame ladder for what you're supposed to use it for. Each ladder has a set of labels on it that is designed to, inform you on how you're supposed to use that particular ladder. Things like the weight rating, stuff like that. Like for instance, this ladder here has a 300-pound weight rating, and it's an 8-foot ladder. Before you use each ladder, you want to make sure that you inspect it. Like I said, these ladders get used almost every day. They get beat up, you leave them on the job locked up and somebody behind you hits it with something, a fork truck, whatnot. You don't see it the next day. You go to use it and say one of these fiberglass pieces is cracked and you're on the ladder and it fails, then you fall, you get hurt, and you don't want that. So when you get your ladder out, set it up and go ahead and check. A lot of places where it'll crack will be the rivet points on the steps, down by the feet. They usually crack there, so you want to make sure you check there, the top, and you want to make sure it's not overused, as in like it's faded, stuff like that. Another thing that happens with these ladders is they get spackle and paint on them, and that can kind of hide some of the cracks in them. So you definitely want to make sure that you pay attention to that sort of thing. When you set your ladder up, after you've inspected that sort of thing, you want to make sure that it's nice and square. So if you're using a A-frame ladder like this one, you want to make sure that all 4 feet are on the ground as they're supposed to be. You don't want to have one up off the ground because that'll cause it to tip side to side. It could cause you to lose your balance and fall. If it's a straight ladder, if you're using it for either a manhole or using it to get on top of the roof of a building, you want to make sure that's set up properly. So if you're setting it up to go over the roof of a building, you want to make sure that you have at least 3 rungs above the top of the roof. And if you're using it as a, just a lean ladder on a wall, you want to make sure that you have a second person to help hold that ladder. Whenever you set a ladder up to go over the roof of a building, the first time up, as a precaution for me, what I always do is I have somebody else at the bottom of the ladder to hold it, make sure it doesn't go side to side until you get up and over onto the roof. Then once you're at that point, tie that ladder off so that from now on that ladder's secure. It's not going to go anywhere and you don't have to worry about it tipping over, and it doesn't take 2 people to climb a ladder. When you climb the ladder, you want to make sure that you face forward to the ladder and maintain 3 points of contact, meaning either 2 feet in one hand or 2 hands and 1 foot. And you don't want to use the back rungs as a ladder. Make sure that you're always going on the right side. And there are ladders that are designed for both sides. They have steps on either side. Our 16-footer here at the shop has rungs on both sides so you can walk up either side. When you're working on your ladder, especially if it's a ladder you use on a regular basis, you don't want to, you never want to modify the ladder. I know we use them all the time. You put a little box on them with your little material and stuff like that. You don't want to drill any holes in the ladder or screw stuff to your ladder, because that damages the integrity of the ladder beyond what the manufacturer states. There are certain ladders and parts that you can buy for ladders that allow you to modify them, but they are built with manufacturer specs in mind. So another thing, when you're using A-frame ladders, you never want to step on the second to top rung or the top at where the ladder meets. Neither one of those are designed to be steps, and at that point you're going above what you're supposed to do with these ladders to use them safely. The other thing you don't want to do is ever sit on the top of your ladder. I know in the past, people, they go up to the top and they swing their leg around and sit on the top, and that's how you work from there. You don't want to do that. That's unsafe, and you'll end up with a fine or hurt, which is worst case scenario. The other important thing when you're using A-frame ladders with a cap on the top You know, we always put our tools in the holes that are designed for it. You want to make sure that before you get down off that ladder that you pull those tools out, so that when you move the ladder you don't have something fall on your head or somebody else. If you were to walk away from your ladder, you want to make sure that you've taken your tools off, because somebody else might go to grab this ladder to use it somewhere else while you're gone, and if you leave a hammer up there or a screwdriver, that could fall and injure somebody. All right, well, that's our segment on ladder safety. Tune in next week for our next safety video.